What am I launching? I'm echoing back, by the way.
Oh.
So loud. Oh, just audio. No. Audio. Awkward. I can hear your game for sure. I hear your audio. And I hear my audio. So
What?
normally I didn't when we did. Okay. Is there a way for me not to hear that? No. Okay.
Problem is, turn off my noise gate. There we go. Now I'm seeing stuff.
Are we live?
Yeah. Yeah, that's why I'm not doing anything, because I was trying to figure all that out.
Okay. Fine. I was gonna tweet it. That's why I asked.
Let me pull up the. Is it dashboard? Stream manager. I'm gonna drop my game audio even more. I'm gonna go to like 5. So I'm pretty sure you just have like the Reach campaign installed and that's it.
No, I installed all campaigns. I thought.
Oh, did you?
I just did the whole thing. It was like 100 something gigs.
Yeah. If you install it on Steam, it just installs Reach and one of the multiplayers.
No, it's. I could pull my. I have 9 things installed, including Halo 4, 3,
Yeah, but like
I think
the base on
the
Steam is
others are the
just
keys.
DLC. Like,
I think the others are the keys also because how big this is.
yeah, I wondered. I was like, man, the download for this is only like 30 gigs. There's no way it's that small.
That's why.
All right, so
That's it.
we'll play Reach on normal. I think I have to get in to invite you.
You're gonna invite me, I assume.
I don't know how the invites for this work anymore, so skip the intro cutscene. Because who needs it? Skip that. Okay, settings. How do I roster? There we go. Friends, you. Can I not? Hold on. I'll quit and then see if I can, from the main menu, invite you in. Let's see. Roster. You.
Wait, is your video working?
Huh? My camera?
Did you get your? Yeah.
So I figured out the problem, or at least the reason of it being a problem.
Okay.
It thinks that there's like another program using it. I have yet to figure out what program it thinks is using it.
Okay.
So until I figure that out, it's not fixed.
Fair enough. Just curious.
I sent you an invite.
You sure?
Yeah.
Where?
Um, Go to roster. It says friends. I'm inviting you.
My game session.
Yeah.
My name. I don't know what a roster is.
Yeah. So you should be that. You're in the roster. So then it should say like friends of Hannah and it should have DRGAJ. I'm inviting you. Oh, is this another thing where it thinks I'm offline?
Probably. I have my game session. I have a chat log. I have the message of the day. I have settings. I don't have a roster.
Along the bottom, it like for me it says options and career.
Careers. Okay.
The next one is roster.
Next one is message of the day for me.
Oh,
I don't have a roster.
hold on. Um,
That's why I'm asking about it.
Invite player, join player. I'm joining you.
Okay.
Apparently, you're the session leader.
I don't see you. Oh, I do see you.
Man, you are stupid.
You're not in. Unless I click the player icon, I don't see you. For the record, I'm gonna make you leader. You should now be in charge.
Oh shit! I did on easy. Whoops. Well, we're gonna fly through this.
Have I told you I haven't played Halo in years?
We're playing it on easy because I just mashed buttons.
Is which one people don't like, or is that ODST?
I think ODST is the one people don't like.
Because I know one of them people generally liked it on boosted. I think it's Will. Oh yeah, Will. Hello everyone. I'm gonna say hi on the mic. I don't do the PvP. Is that accurate?
Definitely. And you play it with a keyboard and mouse, so a game that's designed for a controller like this.
I don't like it. Let's do somewhere. We'll be in the living room. My desk is a mess. I need to clean it.
Yeah.
I wrote it down in the morning to add to our show notes tomorrow, and then by the end of the day, I was like, "And we have an amendment to the story already." Do you follow the Jason Schreier story?
That they're acquiring Vicarious.
They've already had him, but they're just moving Silva's inside and minus off of any androgynous. And they're just basically Blizzard wants like the head team got scrapped.
Yeah, I saw that.
That's the bigger news I think there is like this is between them. Which is sad though. BB is a good team.
Well, and especially the work that they put in for the Tony Hawk remaster.
Think the last 2 years they've done all remasters. Spyro, trash. This could be trash.
I think I customized my character. I forget. This was the first of the 343s, right?
Yeah, this was the one that was like the test pack, right? No, these are the Final Bungie games I thought.
No, ODST is the last Bungie game.
That makes sense.
Because that's the one that has the Destiny Easter egg in it.
Is that why ODST is so short?
I forget.
Bungie, words. Looking at it right now.
Made Reach.
Reach. Publisher isn't even Microsoft. Genius.
So with the whole Xbox Live thing changing, that makes me wonder. Like, they're clearly going to do that.
Do what?
Up the price.
Well, they said they are. They adjusted. They said for existing customers they would, but let me read the actual fine print. They are upping the price. They lowered the uppage, but existing customers have longer now.
No, it's back to 60.
No,
60 for a year.
they upped
That's
it.
what Aaron Greenberg tweeted out.
But if you read the actual text of it, they didn't up the yearly approach. They upped the monthly equivalent cost of it.
Yeah. And yearlies are only available at retail.
And also, it's only new customers on the monthly equivalent. This is what's gonna and have so long to extend it. Yearly's only I think extended up to 2 years it said.
Also, who was getting Xbox Live Gold for a month and 3 months? Even the 6 month, like everybody got the year.
You say that, but like I know friends getting like PS Plus every month. Blows my mind. Because it's just cheaper doing it yearly, but it's some people just don't have always that money cash on hand.
Well, that's why you go to gray sites like CD Keys.
No, no, no.
Yeah, no. CD Keys is a good one. Like, G2A is like, stay away from them. But CD Keys, I've gotten a bunch of stuff from them.
Who's flying this plane?
Not me. But we gotta locate it at Stress Beacon.
Beep 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 beep. Okay. God, I've tried this word only by Halo. It's called the jump scopes.
I changed to Bumper Jumper.
No, my problem is like that scope is like a whole scope. So I wish it just kind of like lightning jump type.
I don't know what ADS is on the on bumper jumper anymore. Oh, it's right stick. That's what it is.
I don't like how the whole like timer is like almost like what 60 seconds. I always say they're setting to people for Call of Duty just better than Halo.
I mean, it depends on what you're talking about. Like,
Yeah, I think gameplay feeling wise.
hey, we found the beacon.
Hey, I didn't kill you.
No, but I did.
Buddy. Ow. Yo, what are you doing?
Well, it's two melee to kill.
How much is one melee? Not bad. Also, I love when this game came out with the cutting edge graphics.
Yeah.
Like there are games, I almost feel like I have to look at them and be like, can you see it? Can you see it?
Well, this was 360, so
Yeah, it's 2 gens back. But this is like the remastered version of it. Or is it the original you're playing?
it's. I don't think Reach had anything done to it.
Or is it the only one that didn't? I thought all three did.
Well, no, one and two definitely had work done. All right, while they're talking, I'm gonna pee.
Oh wait, no, that needs to upload first. That looks better.
I back.
I found the settings for this game. That's a different one submit.
Settings.
It is settings, UI,
I mean gameplay.
the UI graphics quality. Sorry. And then go to graphics and custom.
Yeah,
Better.
it's not a huge difference.
I think stuff is blurry though when you're offline.
Well, did you do any of the video settings beforehand?
No, I was doing it while waiting.
Because I had done at least like graphics quality and stuff like that.
No, mine was on normal, which is like my computer should not be a normal for Halo Reach.
That's just the default. I don't think the Master Chief Collection does the like auto.
I'm shocked enough it's not broken, so he accepted it.
Well, so my Xbox One was actually the Master Chief Collection bundle on Amazon, and I never even played that. I think I launched it once.
This game is way too long without any combat.
What is controls, gamepad? What? Okay, I'm on bumper jumper. What's grenades? Switch grenades. Zoom melee. Okay, it's left trigger still. Yeah.
You know what's really funny? So I went on to like launch the game when it installed today, right? Or like download it. It was saying, "Sorry, you're not old enough." I was like, "Excuse me?" I didn't go in my Microsoft account, re-enter my age, just to allow me to install the game. How wild is that?
Well, at least your Microsoft Store works.
I know I had to go on the website, that's why I didn't.
So I genuinely wonder, like, um, so my PC is running through a network switch.
Right.
I wonder if that is what is screwing with the Microsoft Store.
Oh, so you can't verify?
Well, because, like, I have, clearly my computer is connected to the internet,
No. That's crazy.
which is weird because this computer's, since I built it, has almost exclusively been through a network switch. And I've been able to,
Through a network switch anyway.
because we've got, I've got two ports in the office that I installed. And then we've got, we've actually got two Wi Fi networks at the house.
I forgot about that. I think when I was there, you said you had two.
No, we didn't have two at that point. We were going to get two, but
Maybe that's what they.
I mean, we always had the double band, the dual band stuff, but no, now we've got like two physical Wi Fi networks.
Is it just to control travel better?
It's for range.
Oh, because you can change where in the house they can come. Is your phone switched, or do you just have a bad spot for the phone?
Um, well, so what I ended up doing was we got a mesh network. So that is like our primary network now is the mesh, and then the secondary network, like you know, it's like a couple of the TVs are on it, and some of the older stuff is on it, but um,
Stuff that doesn't need any speed.
yeah, or stuff that doesn't need speed, like um, our Nest and our doorbell and stuff like that are on it.
Oh, you have smart doorbell and shit for
Yeah,
your house?
uh, potentially. I mean, I guess you'd have to hack in a Nest first, and then
You have Wi-Fi?
you'd have to get into our Google accounts.
Is Nest not on Amazon Bot? Maybe I'm
No,
thinking of
that's a
something else.
Ring.
Ring. Okay.
Nest is fully owned by Google.
Why? Why is it owned by Google? Maybe I should look into that.
Rebels don't leave plasma burns. Also, I'm curious. I'm curious how they're. Yeah, because it is a dual. It's a twin stick driver. It's gas and brake on the left stick, and then it's right stick to turn.
It's disgusting on a mouse and keyboard. It's actually stuff. That thing's barely drivable.
I wonder if you like. I'd imagine you can change it, but
It's WASD, which is so slow from a turning point of view. I'd almost watch your walk. It's that fast. Out of sync.
so it's funny. I launched this game last night. I think it was to do the settings and stuff like that for it, and it popped like half the achievements for Halo 2 campaign, um, a bunch of like multiplayer achievements, and I'm like, what is going on? I'm not complaining, but it was certainly weird to. Yeah, it'd be great if you showed me where their position was, game. I'm gonna guess there.
Oh, so you
Why are you shooting at friendlies?
I didn't know you were friendly.
I will say the one thing I do remember is Halo is the only game that I play bumper jumper on.
Really?
Yeah.
You don't understand why people love Halo so much more playing this. I genuinely don't get it. I've never got it.
I never understood the story, the love for the story, because it's really not that great.
Like I'm playing this and it just feels like a generic first-person shooter to me. Like
Yeah.
it doesn't feel like anything special. Like honestly, I was like playing at a friend's house, even then I was like, okay, we're hanging out playing a game. I'm really not like excited.
Well, and I think part of the love for Halo is the multiplayer. Like,
I don't get that when I play though. Like I legitimately have played better shooters. Nothing about this game is like an amazing shooter. Like, and I know what shooters of this type feel like. It still feels clunky to me.
yeah, because this would have been what, like Black Ops.
This is Black Ops. Okay, compare this to say Black Ops for just a second. Compare this to Battlefield. Compare this to how about this? Put some time with Mass Effect 2 and 3. They play better than this.
Yeah.
Infinite Story, I'm like, those games play better. And you know that. Also, this world, this world feels generic. Do you not think so?
Yeah. I mean, even right, like when I played Halo 2, like You know, that is the everybody's like, "Oh man, this game's so great." Like, it's okay.
Like they're saying like oh we can't like I played old games and I can see what people like them. This I don't get.
Yeah.
Too busy. I'll find my controller for one.
I don't know. At this rate, we'll probably play something else.
Unless you start liking it more.
Maybe we hop back into due process or something like that.
We also need to record the podcast at some point too. We also need to do that.
Live podcast.
We'll do that.
We'll do that.
We'll do a live podcast or just recording.
No, we'll just do a live podcast.
We'll have video of it. Worst case scenario, webcam up.
No. I'll do like a I don't know, like I'll just do the Google Doc or something like that. Got the needle rifle and the needler.
That's my gun. I put it down because the current rumor though for Mass Effect is March.
There maybe announcement. There's no way that game's out by March.
Currently leaked rumor. Okay, we leaked on one of the I think it was like Target Europe or some shit. Like one of the ones that MCU Live posters. Apparently they're just the rumor is they're just gonna launch it and go.
I mean, I feel like that's what they have to do. Like,
No, people. The thing is, that game need a release cycle. Like, people know either you're gonna put out the release. Like, I don't think that show's gonna sell next week.
well, and especially after Andromeda, like,
Look, it's a remaster. As long as it plays right, we're fine. That's all I want.
oh, this is the remaster. Yeah, yeah. I imagine they can just do whatever.
That's on me. Cause I'll just play it on my PS5. It won't be current gen, last gen. But it would be backwards compat and stuff. So that'd be a good like couple weeks that game would last.
Fall back. That's what the objective is.
Oh, the objective is to fall back.
Yeah.
Not obvious. Are we back? Are we falling?
I'm gonna need to switch guns here pretty soon. Cool plasma pistol with like 0 ammo.
Sorry, that was mine.
Oh. Yeah, don't take that needler. There's nothing in that. Yeah, the night vision isn't much different, dude. It sounded bad on the comms.
Sorry, what was that? Min.
Yeah. Spanish? Hungarian. Well, I just got ganked by the dude in red. I have no idea. I think I'm 6. I don't know what you are. I'm just going after the big bad dude. Yeah. It's kind of like Splinter Cell night vision. I mean, it is going to be an interesting things we've played because we both pretty much played the same thing. There's a couple big guys. Oh, hold on, that's not what I want. I want that. I've got the thing. Look, I've got the thing. I've got the thing. I've got the Halo thing. So apparently on our last Sea of Thieves stream, we had 12 people in chat. Or it said we had 12 chatters. That's what the email was. But it said we only had one viewer, so I have no idea what it was. I'm on Twitch chat, so if you have the YouTube chat, then what's your name? If this is upgraded, this isn't true because her hair looks disgusting. I'm waiting for other players. I don't know. I've got a countdown. I'm at 40 seconds. What happened? Apparently we skipped it? I don't know. To think people adore these games. Yeah. Like this is Battlefield 1. Well, like Battlefield 1 is a competent shooter. It is not a great game, but it works. Bad Company and Bad Company 2 are genuinely amazing single player experiences. Also, so the funny thing is, right, like the Medal of Honor games, the remake ones, they're good. Well, in the one, the yeah, the second one reviewed horribly, but it was like it was amazing. Like I've talked about it a couple times. It was like it was pre siege style stuff. Like it had different special forces, and what you chose was yeah, I got it. Though I'm gonna keep sprint. That's armor lock. It's like an invincibility thing. I would just keep sprint. Um, but like choosing what special forces you wanted in Medal of Honor Warfighter like mattered, and it had some truly amazing game modes. Like it had a great capture the flag. Yeah. Well, and from what I remember, like even like legendary's hard, but not unbeatable. All I heard was something to the west and something to the east. Yeah. Activate anti-air gun. Okay, where? Easier said than done, bud. There it is. So I started playing a game that is like might be one of the most realistic simulators out there. No. Train Sim World. I mean, I speak some German. Yeah. Well, and like the reason that I like them is they're like if you know which ones to get, like they are very very well made. They're expensive. No. What? We just had to turn it on. I did the east. But no, Train Sim World is like it's real time. It's real lines. Like it's all the same controls and everything. It's Uh, no, I would say it's what yeah, maybe. I never played that.
I've never transmuted from it. It was a Sid Meier transmuted game that was an experiment.
Yeah.
I like how this game just realized like you're on the boost button on this guy, so it adds one to his boost list. Then
Where's
boost
this?
boost boost.
Is it?
Item. Enemy controls Warthog 2 star point of view.
I guess this way. Apparently.
Also, have you tried the boost? I don't think it is not that fast. I wanted like a Borderlands level boost where like you're doubling your speed.
Well, so I wonder if that's the problem. Like, we're used to modern games, which it's weird to call this like an old game, but
You're not though. Borderlands 1 is the same era as this game.
yeah.
And that's I compare it to that and I think that's like the top tier. Like not even joking. Like think of games of this time that are shooters. That is Borderlands 1. That is Mass Effect 2. That is Just Cause.
It might have been just cause 2 at that point.
But you know what I'm saying though. Like these are games that like different, objectively different, but like the standard for faster play is there and the way games play. Remember that was a big deal when they added sprint in Halo 4 or whatever, and people were screaming at that.
No, they were like Halo 4. I mean, because Halo's always had sprint.
But there was something that people were upset about.
It was like sprint's always been a option that you had to choose. So the armor lock or the sprint.
So they put it on both.
I think so. Yeah.
Well, think about this, I guess. A video game players got upset because they put sprint as a thing in the traditional sense.
Well, that's the thing, right? Like the Halo community is such a well. No, I was gonna say it's a like it's almost a um what's the word I'm thinking of where
Traditional?
no it's like shit what's the word for it we got a baddie um hypocritical community. I think that's the word I'm looking for, where they want these modern, like they want these great looking modern games, but they want it to play like a game from 20 years ago.
And
Like,
then they're wondering why it's not selling.
yeah. Like, so they made Halo 5 a modern game.
I was gonna say, I thought like with Halo 5 that was one of the things that made it act like a modern game.
Yeah. Yeah, it was a modern game, and then everybody in the Halo community was like, oh, this isn't Halo. This is Call of Duty.
Would this be like a video game more in the early 2000s or maybe even like the late 2000s?
I mean, there's a reason every shooter has the exact same control scheme.
I was gonna say like there are some variations. Like I think Doom and Titanfall and Call of Duty all play differently, but at the same time there's some baseline to them.
Well, and they're also different. Like, they're different styles of shooter. Like,
But they still, you're right. They still use controls in a lot of ways. I love those games you just mentioned. Three-fourths of their controls are exactly the same, right?
you mentioned what Doom, Call of Duty.
And Halo, no, Doom, Call of Duty, and Titanfall. So besides little variations here and variations there, their controls are very
Yeah,
similar.
I will say I heard of a lot more people using like bumper jumper for Titanfall as their default control scheme. So, you know,
Titanfall had a weird competitive thing
And at times, like especially with two, you needed bumper jumper. Like that game was just so fast paced. What?
Oh, never mind. It teleported me into there because you entered a very good time.
I'm just making a mockery of this game.
I don't know. It teleported me because I was 2 feet behind you, and that's weird. But to me, a lot of it is so there are times when I'm curious if one of the reasons, one of the issues 343 might be having, because obviously the game has been, I think, moderately successful, but it didn't sound like there's too big islands in Halo trailers for, is I wonder if the nature of the Halo community is they're hiring from the Halo community, and that's making it where those games aren't evolving.
Well, they built an entire studio to like.
Yeah, but they did the same with Gears, and Gears was super fine. People liked the modern Gears.
Yeah, but I guess the thing with Gears is that Gears hasn't changed, but it was ahead of its time when it was out. So
Well, Halo 1's been ahead of its time. Halo 2 is ahead of its time.
was it? Oh, like in terms of gameplay, like
Halo 1 definitely was. If you
I
want to talk about how it revolutionized a lot of pieces of the industry, the same way that COD 4 changed first-person shooters, Halo 1 was the thing before it.
I have genuinely no idea where we need to go.
Say it.
Oh,
Oh, thank you.
finally.
Prefer to say it. Because I would have eventually figured out it would go down there, right?
I guess if we stuck with our allies and not just like blasted past everyone, maybe.
There is no visual feedback to tell me where they are.
No, like the only thing I know, the only person I know their location is you.
And even then, I would still lose you time to time.
Like I guess you can use the mini map and figure out roughly where they're.
Which I think is a valid one.
What?
The enemy is giving me no feedback when I get right. Besides your grenades, the enemy is giving me no feedback that it's me, damn it. You notice that?
Yeah. Oh, like what? Like that dude just ran out of there when our ally ran in. Like
By the way, again, this game's probably, like, decently rated. Look it up. How well do you think Halo Reach is rated?
I mean, it's a Halo game, so it's gonna be overrated.
9.1 on Metacritic. IGN UK gave it a 10 out of 10. Perfect game.
What year did this come out?
20 somewhere around 10.
2010. So I guess this would have been Modern Warfare 1
Okay.
or
Weird.
maybe Black Ops 1.
Black Ops 1. I'm almost certain that was Black Ops 1.
Okay, so if it's Black Ops 1, like that is a game that genuinely revolutionized.
This game is 2 months older than Black Ops 1. Just to put in perspective, Black Ops 1 has an it has an 88, which is the highest. So it itemized Metacritic. 88 on PS3, and Black Ops 1's highest Metacritic. PC is like 70.
Well, that was back when PC ports were
Yeah. Okay, but here's the thing.
dog
This game
shit.
is rated points lower than this game. And you guys said IGN gave it a 9.5, 10 respectively. IGN gave that one an 8.5.
I mean, I would argue of the two, like one game
Respectively, of course.
one game genuinely changed the way people play shooters.
I don't know if Black Ops did. Modern Warfare did.
Well, Black Ops started like the ARGs and stuff like that, and
Oh, and also freedom of information and no numbers.
yeah.
I think Black Ops had a bigger influence. Even the way you, I think Black Ops showed old media in the toy industry how you can tell a story like that. Because like you make fun of members right now, but like at the time.
I mean, it was kind of like it was a meme back then because it was Call of Duty. It wasn't like
But it wasn't a bad way to tell a story.
no.
And especially the standard Call of Duty campaign set, it was not a bad way to tell a story.
Well,
It was still useful. It was in between Modern Warfare 2 and 3, but it was still getting useful while changing good story.
yeah.
Also, think about how that game looks and plays compared to this game. And you put two in it, tell me which game plays better.
Black Ops 1 is a little rough.
Okay, play wise, it's not. It's better.
Oh, play wise, it's absolutely better, but look wise, it's pretty rough.
But even just play wise, it's objectively better. Just even think about the feedback the game gives you when you play a game. Say there's not, say you're a gaming that kind of stuff. Which game gives you feedback better on where actually where you are?
Yeah. Well,
That's a bad thing.
is there also a point to be made of like Call of Duty holds your hand? Like,
Okay, fair enough. If I just hold your hand, but me and you being lost the entire time.
well, then we're in Battlefield.
It's like this game, I have no clue what's happening. We're shooting at each other. And like we were watching this to begin with, and I still was like, okay, something else, what the hell's happening? Who are we? Like, no one ever explained shit to me.
Well, it also doesn't help that I skipped a couple of the cutscenes.
Yeah, but even then, it felt generic sci-fi. It's like you talk about Halo, like we're playing this amazing story right now. And you I'm gonna say this type of thing to everyone. You ready?
Go for it.
Doom 2016 has told a more coherent story than we've seen.
I mean, Doom 2016 is like one of the best examples of a riveting story in a shooter.
And a cartoonish story at the same time.
Yeah. All right. All right, game. Where the fuck are we supposed to go?
Follow the AI guide. What about Jinty and Alex?
First Lieutenant Green, Sergeant Hunt.
What if they have guys named Lone?
Huh?
I'm gonna take my ally's gun. Can like do that?
Yeah. I just heard the guy say, "Take it, it's yours."
What the fuck? I go back. Some hand holding would be nice right now. Just enough. Just to know what we're doing.
Like, oh, I saw red.
That's good. Maybe.
It's on the other side of this.
Those are blurred. Find an exit.
Is it this one? Okay,
Yeah, I think this team is fine.
found it.
Where?
It should just, it'll warp you. But I mean, like, this wasn't a clear, like, oh, this is where you need to go.
Oh.
It was like a back door.
Oh, by the way, at the half hour mark, I have to. I'm currently doing a call with the next company, so I could either hop on, hop back off, and then I can talk after that. So I'm going to a meeting right now.
At 4:30.
Yeah. I realized after I said we could do this a couple hours, I decided to call to finish up.
Well, I'll tell you what. Let's. How about we stop Halo?
Okay.
Because this game sucks ass.
Okay.
I don't know what we'll play, but
So I could exit out of it.
at 4:30.
Okay, sounds good. So your job is to figure out what we play. If it's a shoot, just spawn a game, I can download it. But just realize that my internet's a little slow.
All right, who cares?
Who did that?
I I have no idea.
I didn't know we did anything.
Like, was that supposed to be the artillery thing that I picked up that we finally used, or?
I don't know. But to me, what it means is we didn't know what to do anything.
Oh, we got snippers.
I'm texting my friend who I used to play Halo at growing up, and I text him saying, "How did you like the Halo games growing up?" I'm telling you right now, it's so bad.
All right, so hold melee for assassination, I guess.
Okay, sounds good to me. Did you get lethal before?
I killed the one. It's anything, I think.
Oh, do they sleep? Sleep.
Well, the grunts are asleep. Not that way.
Where is this music coming from? Is there like some cult?
I think it's the grunts.
I want this. What is this?
Health. Oh, hey, thanks for firing because you woke everybody up.
Whoopsie. I didn't realize that would do that.
Just watch our backs because there were grunts behind us.
I think we're good. I think they.
Oh, there he is. I'm saying I got hit by something. Midair shot.
You want a hologram?
I think the hologram is for if you're gonna go silent, but
Why is that silent?
distraction.
Yeah, but you can shoot at it. Okay. Are you gonna be saying the next game you pick for next week? If we play one game next week, expect better out of you.
I expected better out of the game.
Because you know what I could do? I could just keep Game Pass while each week and start a new game.
Yeah, but then I'd have to sign up for Game Pass, and I don't want to do that.
Oh, you just play game. I didn't realize you owned that.
It was like $6 on one of the Steam sales. So
Got it. Okay. No, that's what we're doing. Okay. I didn't realize that between this and Sea of Thieves we owned both already.
I've owned Sea of Thieves for a long while.
I just do it on Game Pass. Do any of my games have instant trial expires? Sounds alright. I enjoy debt. This doesn't auto renew without me deciding if I want it to. Because hey, game is the last thing I want, right? $8 in my account just disappearing.
Well, at least it's not um whatever they were gonna bump Game Pass up or Gold up to.
I don't think the Game Pass bundle went up because it was supposed to be live.
Yeah, live was well. The thing of it was they were like
It's like
at
100 all the time.
yeah at the price that
Why is
they
it
were
why all the time?
because it was the same price.
I thought it was a couple bucks cheaper, but not much.
Maybe over a year, but
Yeah, so it was 12 and 15 I think the difference. It was $3 with the Game Pass membership, which means you push enough players to Game Pass and you just drop it.
well, and like if they're truly gonna stick with the whole, um, oh, we're gonna add Ubisoft and EA and like I know they've said they're not going to raise the price.
at a certain point though, like
They have to like
at a certain point though, like Netflix does, but only like once a year. Like if you play that, whatever year you raise it $1 a month, that's pretty cool, I think. Because what we don't know, AJ, is we don't know on the back end how much they're paying developers, like indie developers. My understanding is that multi-network figure is very low in the US.
well more of like EA is not a company that takes a discount.
An indie dev would. If I'm an indie dev and you're like, we want to put your game in front of 1 million people, but we're paying you like in a 100,000 people, I'd probably still say yes because it's worth it. Because it doesn't cost me advertising to throw an ad game in there. You know what I'm saying?
Well, and if it's a guaranteed 100,000 versus if it's a guaranteed 100,000 versus a potential million.
And the guaranteed 100,000 still got me $1 million because someone else has more eyes on it.
Awesome. I'm completely out of ammo. I have no.
I have very little ammo. And this big guy keeps chasing me. Whatever the hell it is.
Yeah, like, am I supposed to know what all of these wild enemies are? Like,
Also, the
oh,
problem is,
finally. Now they just said, like, oh, it's an indigenous creature.
like, I figured that out. But yeah, indigenous theming. You know, yeah, and to me, you know what I also thank God is? I think God Bungie got better at make games feel better. Because like Destiny 2, this game like play really nicely, but you know what they play like?
Well, I mean, that's the one thing. Like, I will say the guns in this feel fine. Like,
I don't know. I have zero communication of what type of gun it is when I pick it up.
well,
Like I know it's a needler because the game knows it's a needler, not because
and also, like, these games wouldn't have, or these guns wouldn't have recoil. Like, they're plasma. They're, you know, nothing's shooting a real round. So, like,
well, yeah, but like games do that. Like I understand that part. It's just more of a like I don't know picking up a gun. I have no indication if this is burst auto, single fire, semi-auto. Like I don't.
yeah,
Where I feel I should be having more of that communication.
yeah. Until you've pulled the trigger for the first time, you have no idea what it is.
Where a gun should at least I should even looking at it, I should have a even if I'm wrong, there should be a reason I'm wrong for stuff. Like
I mean, even Destiny is a little like if you're just picking up and auto equipping like the best stuff, you're not 100% sure.
I think that's different because of the nature of how many weapons are in it.
And it's consistent. Like once you know, oh, it's this company,
Yes.
it's this brand. Like,
It does the borderline of I have to learn the brand nuances, but once I know the brand nuance, I know that's what an assault rifle always feels like.
let's see. I mean, like, are we supposed to be moving at their speed? Like,
I have no clue.
if that's the case, then this game's super slow.
Also, am I supposed to care where they're talking from? Like, is this supposed to be important?
It was the militia or something.
It's just none of this feels important.
Yeah. I mean, like, at least with Destiny, you weren't expected to really care about the story.
But that's again a different type of game. That game, like, the expectation I have that for a game that is based on RPG mechanics and progression in a multiplayer sense, I expect different things from.
Yeah.
That's the worst case scenario. You don't understand the story. So no one's questioning how well that played game. The reason that they put so much work into fixing the game was the base idea of how it's played didn't play.
Yeah, at the very least, it's a competent shooter.
Right.
This doesn't even really have that saving grace. Like,
And again, we just compared what we're comparing it to. Are you honestly gonna tell me this is terrible?
I feel like that the opinion you and I have of this game is an opinion that I feel like we would get shredded for on Twitter.
Oh, 100%.
Oh, you don't like Halo? No, I don't. Have you played like Halo lovers? Have you played Halo?
Like me and you play a bunch of games. We're like, oh, we're just doing a time to be as and hang out and play games still. Like, look, at least like even games I'm bad at, like Payday, I at least feel like it plays fine. Like,
Well, and like Payday, and to a lesser extent, Sea of Thieves. Like those games have such a high skill ceiling that
but the base is really low.
yeah, there is a basic like oh, at the very least, I can just go in, rob this bank, and shoot everyone.
Which I'm able to handle just fine.
Yeah. Whereas the upper limit of that game is oh, you can do it silently and you know feel like a real bank robber.
Stealth games, any of those games that where you try to be stealthy but you don't have to. Also, here's my pet peeve. I'm gonna say it, and I know this is a modern game thing. If my gun is almost out of ammo and I walk over the same gun,
Yeah.
just switch out my gun.
That's I think backwards. I remember coming down that broken stair set.
But don't you agree that's what it should be doing?
Yeah. I shouldn't have to be picking up.
The same gun.
Yeah.
If I don't want you to switch my gun out, but if it's the same gun, just find a reason it's reloading. Also, I feel like you run out of ammo in this game way too much.
Yeah. It makes me.
If you're actually a soldier, your goal isn't to go grab the enemy's gun every 2 seconds.
Yeah. Well, and like, when's the last time that happened? Like, in real life?
That you had to go take enemy guns.
Yeah. I mean,
Battle, in which that's true, but it's like my chopper has fallen from the sky. Like we have to survive moment. It's not a default military engagement.
right.
Where this game feels like a default military engagement.
Like, there were definitely times in World War II and even into Vietnam where,
That would happen. But in modern, like in Iraq and Afghanistan, God, people are black hawk down. Like there's circumstances when that stuff happened, but it was not. That's not the default. The default was you have your gun, you're gonna go deal with this. Maybe you have actually you're fighting 10 people. Yeah.
also, I turned subtitles on and I'm not getting them.
Well, it's going to the other monitor.
Wouldn't surprise me.
What's behind the game? Be like it's a separate home screen. Here's even funnier. So I'm looking at my second monitor's dashboard. Halo doesn't even have an icon. It's just a little white square.
It's got the Halo icon for me.
Oh, okay, maybe that's useless, but it's funny to me. I'm like, add it to the thing of network.
Like, okay, I know I've got my audio turned down to stream and talk over it, but I have no idea what people are saying. My oh no, my shields are down.
Also, I don't care. Listen, like, I don't think our enemies of our team is gonna die, so I really don't care.
Yeah. And like I don't feel like there's zero connection. Like, am I supposed to care who Priestley, Briscovic, Dunn, and Dykhoff are? Like,
Well, yeah, of course. Can I be done? I don't. Thank you.
I have a Gatling gun.
Good job with that. I'd like a gun out of any of the enemies. Why is this thing doing? I hate these plasma pistols. Are objectively the worst thing.
They're charge pistols.
I know. They're horrible. I'm well aware what they are.
Oh, awesome. I have to run across the entire playfield because that's where the objective is.
What the hell?
This is the first time we've had an objective marker.
Weird. I thought it was gold. I was like, is Craig's using gold in this game?
Dude, this plasma cannon is dog shit.
I have like no ammo. Please let me steal your guns. Nope, I did not want a grenade. I have plasma rifle. If I spawn enemy appearance in oh these also the way that they teleport you up and back just feels weird to me.
The jump head.
Yeah. Have we defended?
No, there's probably like one or two enemies halfway across the map that.
Oh, I see one. He's invisible.
Yeah.
Wait, I can't aim down sights and shoot this guy. What the hell?
Nope. I got the invisible guy.
Same.
Alright, so we got 10 minutes until you need to be on that call.
They're calling me too, so there's like some gray area in that. Because you know what season is almost AJ? It's tax season.
Tax season, yeah.
My taxes are complicated enough that I pay people.
Neighbor does mine.
Does your neighbor see whatever it is?
He works for Whirlpool as a tax attorney.
Okay, but the point is though he knows tax.
Yes.
I am a firm believer of paying someone a couple $100 and not dealing with it.
Also, my taxes for next year are going to be just stupid complicated.
Why?
Because sports betting's legal in Michigan, baby.
Oh no.
I already made $100.
You did not.
Yep.
Is that gonna be your new income source?
Um, I mean, I could potentially get a master. Yeah, like I could pay for a master's out of it. I would have made 400 last night if James Harden scored 3 more points.
Mine are complicated because I did enough freelancing, but I tried to contribute enough into an IRA to kind of counter that. I don't know if I did.
Well, are you doing a traditional or a Roth?
Traditional should counter that would counter that income. I also rolled over some stuff that shouldn't affect it anyway, and I have capital gains option for tax refresh.
Did you hop on the GameStop stock? Well, did you see why it popped? No, 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 no. It's Redditors trying to make a point out of somebody shorting the stock. Well, there's no guarantee though that this would have even happened. Like, well, who Chewy got into it, which they want to be the like. I think they said the Amazon of games or something. Like, you don't need to be the Amazon of games. Amazon already does games. Yeah. Is that end of level? Yep. It's at least a cutscene. But we're not watching cutscenes because this game sucks. Okay, you can hop off now. I know what I'm gonna do while I'm waiting for you. I am gonna go drive a train. QTD. Confirm. This game sucks ass. Confirm. Excuse me. Awesome. Epic intro. Alright, what's the timetable? GWR, what are scenarios? I have no idea how long this is going to take. It just said continue. Stop at location. 1443. 35 miles. Oh boy. Okay. Unlocked. Engine start. That's on forward. Reset that. Headlights on today. Hammer down. This game is loud. Even 50% is still super low. Damn. Oh, didn't even apply. That's why. Stop at location 1418, 1443. Have to stop at Reading. Where are the wipers? Wipers. Go 50%. Oh yeah, we get to do 100 mile an hour. Hammer down. So the speed limit on this section is like 100 mile an hour, but I think the fastest I've got this train to go is 90. I don't think we'll get to 100. I mean, now it's 125. I definitely can't go that fast. So we're about 20 minutes out. I gotta say, being a train driver has gotta be a boring job. May I help you? That I am. I'm driving a GWR from somewhere near London up to Reading. That would be the British. Well, considering this game was made in London, I do not know what you mean, sir. I mean, this is gonna take another. Yeah, this is gonna take 17 minutes. At least. Yep. Because I don't know if I'm gonna have to do any more once I get to Reading. Speaking of trains, so for anybody that, well, I guess anybody that's been listening or watching to any of our stuff for any amount of time would know that you're originally from Chicago. Yep. Yeah. How often did you use the L? Because so yeah, because you lived in Downers Grove, which is a very affluent neighborhood. Oh, it was staggering to see. Well, like every other house was basically brand new. Like yeah, but it was the original house. It wasn't it. A lot of the people, like you could tell it was an old neighborhood because there was a lot of old growth trees and stuff like that around. I mean, that's not as crazy. That's not as crazy as it sounds. Like that. So that was probably an immigrant bought it or built it. Well, no, if it was in the 20s, that would have been the roaring 20s. Like so, they bought that house, and then the depression hit, so they couldn't just, nobody had any money, and then it was the war, and then, so they probably sold it in the 60s or 70s, 40 years. It's not that. It's weird to say now because everybody sells their house in 10 years. Well, so the metro is the commuter trains because that goes all the way out to like Michigan City. Yeah, there's one or two lines that go all the way. Yeah, well, and yeah, yeah. Have you? I don't know. How many other major city metros have you used? Well, okay, so the BART doesn't count because the BART is just a dumpster fire on rails. Um, but have you I don't know, have you ever used well, you've done the train jam, so yeah, which yeah, which I gotta say, Amtrak, yes, it's a failing idea in the states. They've got their shit together. Like when yeah, yeah, but like when I went to DC, we stayed in Baltimore and then took the Amtrak down, and that's a viable option. Like especially in the Northeast corridor, like traveling by rail is a legitimate option there. Like I get the first off, the U.S. is way too big to do any sort of you know it would be it would be trillions of dollars to do any sort of major UK style train system. Yeah, and so a fare would just be ridiculous. Across like a New York to you can't even go cross country on rail. Like you would have to go like New York to Chicago, Chicago to San Francisco, and you're in the magnitude of $600 minimum to do that. Whereas if you're in New York and you want to get to San Francisco, that's a what $300 to $400 flight. Like so, the U.S. is just way too big to do any sort of that stuff. But it would be nice to see I would love it if the Midwest was connected by rail, more than it is. Like if well, but if it was a feasible option to have a high speed line from Grand Rapids to Chicago, and if it took I mean, it's just way too slow.
But if we could cut something through Lake Michigan, you'd cut that travel time in half.
Yeah. But like if it was a feasible option, and so that would be like a 2 hour train journey, right?
Yeah.
On a high speed line, which is kind of ridiculous because it's like 2 hours, 2.5 hours to drive it. But like if I could live downtown Grand Rapids and work in Chicago, and I take the train in, and it's an hour and a half or something like that, like which because you gain an hour doing that travel, it it's only 30 minutes. Like the fact that that would even be a possibility would be amazing. And you know,
Interesting. So like the joke airport I'm gonna mention is obviously where you are. The I still find my favorite airport I've ever been to, which is the dumb fucking airport in Muskegon.
yeah.
The two gates, one terminal, one in or one out of Chicago airport a day. Just the best shit in the world.
Well, so that's actually a connector for in the summer they run up to Traverse City. So,
But it's funny, but like when I went, it was like they only had one flight in and out every day.
mhm. Yeah,
It was
I don't know why that airport even got built in the first place.
because in my head you was running through Grand Rapids,
Yeah,
which is 40 minutes to the east of there. Running through Grand Rapids makes so much more sense.
which they do. Like United has like 5 or 6 in the morning and then 5 or 6 at night. So
Makes way more sense.
makes a ton of sense. Yeah,
Unless I suppose you live right there, but the issue is, odds are it doesn't want you to expensive travel anyway, and you're gonna end up in Grand Rapids. Just plan for it.
yeah, and like if they so obviously if the hyperloop idea actually works, that could that could revolutionize the way that Americans travel, but it's gonna cost trillions of dollars just to go from New York to LA.
Yeah. Speed is cool, but yeah.
Yeah.
No, I agree.
And it's still gonna be a 7 hour journey. So, just use the like obviously we're gonna have to get to that point eventually because planes are going to either switch over to biofuels or just not exist.
But I don't know if it's tomorrow. Also, like
Right.
that's the thing. People are being like, "That's gonna be tomorrow." No, it's not.
I mean, 2035 is when we're supposed to go carbon neutral.
Even then, really doubt we're going to truly.
I mean, it kind of depends, right? Like, we need to embrace green tech. Like, if that's what you want to do, you need to embrace green tech. We need to embrace nuclear, and, we need to embrace, like, full scale solar.
Americans are scared of nuclear for some fucking reason.
Yeah.
Which they shouldn't be, but they are.
I mean, the fucking Japanese who got nuked,
Are still not scared of it, like we are.
well, they're getting scared because of Fukushima, but
But they're not like it's not actually as dangerous. Like it's dangerous if something goes wrong, but again, stuff isn't going wrong the same. People talk about it going wrong.
also, you put proper, like, you know, you don't privatize those.
Even if you do, you put regulations in place to make sure they can't go wrong.
Well, but the thing of it is, right, like, um, the plant in South Haven, like, constantly has issues because it was built to the lowest bidder. So, like, you need standards.
Those contracts,
Yeah,
yeah,
you
you need to make sure you do that. If you're gonna do that, you change how you do the contract.
like have because like so the idea of like the Green New Deal, I think, is a like their
Horrible idea.
their plan is terrible, but for the US to go carbon neutral by 2035, it needs a CCC style Like,
You choose the price tag. Part of it
yeah,
you choose the price tag.
yeah,
Part of it also there were absurd things inside of that. Like it was straight ending airplane travel in 10 years.
yeah.
And like that's why everything in Hawaii was like, excuse me?
Yeah.
We're not hopping on a boat every time we go to the mainland.
Well, and think about like Guam. Guam is the U.S. territory.
Technically couldn't fly, yeah.
If they can't fly, they can't get to the states.
Yeah, it's wild that people thought that was a good idea.
But like, there's no way of doing the large scale projects without just like, all right, look, we're basically gonna scrap the military for a couple of years and just dump all that money into
Well, we can't scrap it. Like, okay, I'm glad we all live in a fan. We can't actually do that.
yeah,
Like, welcome to the real world. That's not a thing. We could lower funding.
yeah,
We're not scrapping it. Zero. Anyone who thinks we have a chance of that is crazy.
yeah. I mean, like, there are people with good points. The problem is,
They're not good messengers if one good point.
well, in like, okay, AOC and her green plan, like, oh yeah, it sounds great, but there's no logic behind it.
Nah, you know how to describe your plan. I like it. That's way nicer than mine.
Like, the idea is there. There's just no logic. Like,
Here's ways we want to do something. Sure, but that's not what makes sense.
yeah, like, do do I agree with her on the fact that we need to go carbon neutral and ideally carbon negative? Yes, absolutely. Like,
But you have to be realistic. Like, realistic in the sense of
yeah. I mean,
what's
like,
practical.
yeah,
What can actually be done? Can we do things? So you know how you sell ideas like that is, an idea that could be very popular is to expand nuclear energy. If you read her bill, it outlawed nuclear energy.
yeah. Like, I hate to say it, people. Nuclear is the only way.
Like there were other things you could also do, but you need nuclear in that equation.
I mean, shit. Short of like basically covering the entire Southwest with solar panels, there's no great way like to make up the energy that we're going to lose from coal plants and from natural gas plants and stuff like that. Like, we need nuclear, we need solar, we need things that people don't want. So,
I agree.
but I mean,
That's the thing.
like what people don't understand is modern airplanes are the single most efficient form of travel on the planet.
Yeah.
I mean, look up the crazy number of like I think a 737 Max 8 gets something like 115 miles per gallon per seat. Like, it's nuts. Like, okay, yes, they burn a shit ton of fuel, but they're moving like 300 people. You know, that plane can go almost across the entire U.S. on a single fillip. So that's 3,500 miles, and you've got 300 people. Like, there's no like it's the most efficient mass transit out there. The problem is we need a way of doing that green. Like biofuels I think are the way to go because as of right now there's no efficient electric propulsion system for a plane. Whereas I mean shit jet engines are designed to run on anything that can combust. So if you suddenly start combusting biofuels that you can grow, you know, in giant factories in the middle of nowhere that are just like algae. Hey, maybe that's the way to go.
How is your Chugga Chugga train ride?
I am 2 miles away. I am already behind schedule because I was supposed to be there at 14:43. It is 14:44. But I should pay attention because I'm going to need to stop.
So I'm playing Rewrite Monster Truck while we're talking. It's this game.
It was snowing yesterday.
No, it was supposed to get like 6 inches. Like we're actually supposed to get snow. Which is fine. One of the joys of working from home. Don't care.
Well, so that's the serious question. Like obviously COVID is going to change a shit ton of stuff. But our corporation's just going to be like you can just work from home.
I think it depends on the job. So my sister's a lawyer, right? What her firm is doing is believing so heavily for the next year, which is when they signed it. What she said they're doing though is they announced to partners and associates is so they have an office right now in which everyone has a desk and stuff conference rooms, right? What they're gonna do is the next office is going to be smaller, in which you have space that you could work if you want, but it's not like you have a desk. It's like if we have 100 people, we now have 30 desks, and if you show up that day, you have it, and they're going to have like a conference room. So basically, the assumption is kind of work from home unless for some reason you need to be in the office, but you still have an office you can go to.
Yeah, that's probably the way to go.
That's
Like
what we're going to see. That's exactly what I'm thinking.
more shared spaces and stuff like that.
Yeah. So in essence, actually, they were making one akin to how like those like shared offices do it, but like just for them.
Well, and like because think about like companies that are fluid in like staffing requirements. So tax agencies, um, places like a law firm, like you know, they don't need an entire 5 floors of this building. Maybe they keep three, but they turn the three into like 2/3 conference rooms, and then a third of it is seating for whoever, because like there's still gonna need to be meeting spaces.
Right. We're not saying no meeting spaces, but you change probably what you have.
Yeah. And I imagine what's going to end up happening is some of these companies are going to have days like, okay, you're going to be in the office 3 days
Yeah, that's probably a good way to do it.
because especially um, if these guidelines of like social distancing and stuff like that continue to happen, like they're going to be like, okay, even weeks, Mike, you're in 3 days, AJ, you're in two, and then you switch. Like I just don't see how you don't do that. Like it's just gonna take way too much effort for a company to say, okay, we're coming back full staff, and we've got to make these modifications. Like there are obviously positions that you need to be in the office every day, like um, the lab that I used to work at, like they you have to be in because you need to test and stuff like that. So that makes sense.
But even like my job, think about like how much years ago, a couple years ago, my job you would never have thought you'd do.
No. Well, it also depends on the companies too. Like,
I meant because like I do a lot of
Yeah, but I mean that
They
hasn't.
have Jack Paul and stuff, but like
Yeah,
it still like costs us to do it outside of the office.
I mean there's ways you do that, right? Like through company-run VPNs and through
Yeah, we have that kind of stuff.
things like that. But yeah. So since I'm driving in the UK, you think it'd be cool if the SWW show got to a point where we could go to like London Comic Con or something like that?
London, baby. That'd be something.
I mean, like, I don't know. Like, this is a genuine question. This isn't like leading on that we've got invitations to do something. We don't have that because nothing's happening yet.
Well,
Um,
there's nothing happening, so I'm not even
yeah,
trying to reach out even to local stuff when I normally would because
yeah. There's no reason for us to even think about that right now. But
yeah.
like, what countries would you actually like want to go for conventions? Like,
The one you know, the dream one would be is you go to Gamescom.
yeah, I don't know if I want to go to Gamescom proper
We would die. We would die.
because like
What is it, 400,000 people?
yeah, it's like 300. It's 350,000 people or something like that go through there.
It's the world's biggest gaming convention.
Yeah.
It's the world's biggest convention, I think, actually.
Uh.
It's one of.
Yeah.
Can't think of many conventions that could fight it.
I mean, I think a couple of years TGS was pulling in like 500,000 people, but
But that space, I've always heard, is not as bad. I've always heard that Gamescom like is the deal.
and TGS is over like 2 weeks. So
Yeah, like I've been to like San Diego Comic Con, and like that can be bad at spots, but like it's a big enough space and a lot of it's outside. Or, like if they put extra stuff outside, that kind of spreads throughout naturally,
yeah.
so it helps.
Okay. Second question: if we had to move the SWW show international, where are we going?
Canada, because it's like not moving.
But the problem is like think about the problem with Canada. It's like well, no, they have a major infrastructure problem.
You don't hear me just complain about taxes for like weeks.
I mean, whatever, like taxes or whatever, but they have a major infrastructure problem. Like their internet isn't that great, and they're kind. It's like a duopoly. It's Rogers and Bell. Like they don't have a ton of competition like we do in the states. I mean, my serious answer would be probably Germany, just because that's Central Europe. So if we wanted to visit developers, like we're 5 hours from everyone in the in Europe at the most. The coolest place would be Dubai, like going there and running out of there. But I don't think either of us will ever be in a financial position where we could justify Dubai because I'm not about to spend 50,000 a month on rent. That's just ridiculous. Because you're looking at 600 grand a year on rent. You're not even owning the place, and you're in a goddamn desert. Australia would be cool, but that's another expensive.
It's on fire.
I mean, if we went to California, it'd be on fire too. So
We're not going to California. It would be a whole day in hell.
Wyoming, baby.
Jackson Hole.
No. I mean, it would be awesome to run it out of Jackson Hole because Jackson's a beautiful city. If you ever get the chance to go out there, I would highly recommend visiting Jackson. No, I'd probably say like Cody or Cheyenne or something like that. because Wyoming's got super super low taxes. It, yeah, I think they do, but it's not super high. But it is genuinely expensive to live there. Like food prices and stuff like that aren't that bad, but building building along the Wyoming Idaho border is over 1,000 a square foot to build. Not to mention the land. Like the land's not cheap either. So it's 1,000 a square foot just to build. So you're looking at you know 1,000 square foot house is $1 million to build it, and 1,000 square feet isn't that big when you're talking about a house. Yeah. So, but no, that could like if you and I I think if we wanted to do it from Wyoming, either we would need to make this show super profitable, or we would need to find other jobs out there. But what could be really cool is if we, because obviously there's a couple of universities, like if we ended up teaching. Yeah. Well, like if we were adjunct professors and, you know, ran a successful podcast. Which we need to look at, we need to look at doing merch stuff. Which probably means I need to redesign the logo because it's not a super great thing for merch, but so tweet at us, let us know if we should do merch, because if we should, and also let us know what you would want. Like, do you want just like stickers and shirts, or like do you want design stuff, like more than just a logo and like maybe a basic design? Do you want stuff that's like, you know, we commission artists to do actual designs and, you know, stuff like that? Which I think that would, if we were going to do something cool, I would say that, like, you know, commission local artists from the Twin Cities, and be like, hey, you know, we've got the Twin Cities line, so like, I don't know if you know Vans, the shoes. Yeah. Well, they do like they collab with pretty much everybody, it seems like. And what they do is each shoe is a different design. So like if we did like a Twin Cities line, and like, okay, the short sleeve shirt looks like this, the long sleeve looks like this, the hoodie looks like this, the sticker looks like this. You know, we could do something like that, which I think would be really cool to get local artists involved in that, because you know, there are a bunch of people that would be willing to do that, I'm sure. Yeah. And if there's styles, like, do you want graffiti style, which I would probably say yes to, you know, one or two of those like street art style designs, because those are just awesome. Like, there are some genuinely amazing street art pieces that I've seen out there. And if there's other cities too, like, you know, if you want us to do a Chicago one, if you want us to do a New York one, if you want us to do an LA one, tweet at us and let us know, and then we'll start looking at putting some stuff together and the feasibility of doing some of that stuff and that. But And to pull kind of the curtain back, Mike and I have talked about doing a Kickstarter, or yeah, sorry, a Patreon, not a Kickstarter. And so one of like obviously a tier would be ad-free shows. But what else do you want? More shows, which that would be a stretch goal. Would be more shows. Do you guys want more streams? Do you want us to do like I don't know, like certain interviews? Do you want us to do like mystery science theater style stuff? Do you want us to do like tweet at us? Let us know what you would want. Also, like tiers and stretch goals, like because Mike and I can think of a couple stretch goals of like better audio equipment, more shows, potentially a physical location, things like that. But it's also we need ideas from the community too. We don't just want we don't want to make a Patreon that Mike and I want. We want to make a Patreon that the community, like you guys, will support and will enjoy, and yeah. Because if we made it like that you and I want, I don't know how well that would do. I hate to say. Because like what you and I want and the price that we would have to put some of the stuff at, I don't know how popular that would be. But yeah, and like obviously COVID changed a lot of stuff for us in terms of talking about that and the feasibility of that and things like that because yep, yeah. I just completely blew past this station. Neutral, we're gonna put her in reverse and we're gonna back her up. Let's see, we'll go about there. And we'll open the doors. It's funny because like this is one of those games that they clearly went and like stood there with a Zoom recorder and like, okay, this is the noise that we need to recreate. Not just like digitized noise. But more of like, there's a bunch of games that like, oh, this is a reference for us to then make. It feels like a lot of these noises they just captured and then that's the noise. It's like it's not trying to recreate the certain buzz or the ding. So, but yeah, I mean, obviously we were not relying on, but we were going to use the convention circuit to, yeah. Because, I mean, we were going to be in Atlanta, we were going to be in Columbus again, we were going to be, I don't know what else you were looking at, but, some of those, and hopefully, if we can return to some normalcy, hopefully we can get back down to Atlanta. And the problem is like from like Momocon's point of view, like can you risk it? Like there's got to be something in their insurance now of like hey, everybody's going to need to be vaccinated and you're going to have to check and you're going to have to do all this stuff. And like, at what point does the convention circuit basically just say, you know what, screw it, we'll take a wash, but you know, because we're taking a wash, maybe 22 is downscaled, or you know, I'm sure some of these conventions, like if they lost a year, they're just done.
Oh, 100%.
Like
MomoCon, I think, is different.
MomoCon's big enough.
I don't think GDX are small jobs. I think that's different. I think they're ones that are different. But yeah, I agree with you.
Like you know, can can PAX survive if there's no physical PAXs?
Yes, but no. For how long?
Right. Like the brand will last, but will PAX, PAX proper, can that exist without having a physical thing? Because I mean, like, okay, yes, you can do the online panels, but like PAX especially, that is such a community driven, like it's all about interaction with the fans. It's all about panels, and it's all like GDEX had that, but it was also like you could do a lot of that show virtually. And I'm not downplaying what they're doing there. It's just kind of the reality of it's it was nice having the community there, the people there, but a lot of those demos may have actually benefited from just like a trailer.
I like the party stuff and all that.
Yeah,
The first party I think more.
well, like, yeah, like the developer parties and stuff like that.
Yeah, those are fun.
Those are fun. But like, you know,
To me, half it was Chicago people doing it also.
yeah, true, true. Yeah, I'm sure there were a lot of people that you were just like, hey, I know them, and because I know them, I know this person, and
That was that for me. Oh, I don't directly know you, but I know you. Or I've
yeah,
heard of you, or you know of me, or how cool did I know that we went on? I was like, oh, we went on Train Jam together. Like,
yeah. I can't even remember. I mean, like that show was fun, but
I
like,
joke her in the most art house way humanly possible that like
um,
Columbus filmmaking were here people. So we're both like, is this a big deal? Is it a big deal?
yeah, like that theater was actually pretty nice. Like,
What if we were laughing at those
yeah,
commercials so much? Columbus Theater commercials.
it had some. It had a quality to it that not a lot of things have anymore.
Especially for a town that most people couldn't participate in, and they're like, I'm in film school.
Well, it kind of makes sense. Like Ohio State, like
Yeah.
they have a they have a department, so it kind of makes sense. But yeah, I don't know. Columbus is one of those cities that it's like I genuinely don't care if I go back.
I enjoyed Columbus. I don't care if I go back, but it's a city that if we happen to go back to, yes.
Yeah, like there's nothing wrong with this city. I'm not saying that. It's just like it was such a like GX could have happened anywhere. Like
Yeah, it just happened by default because of where people were located. Yeah, it wasn't
yeah,
because of location. It was location.
like GX didn't benefit from being in Columbus.
It was a. I think it was a city that like. I wonder if, from a Midwest point of view, it's a cheaper city, which is why developers like it too.
I don't know. Like it's obviously cheaper than Chicago.
But like Chicago is, in my opinion, Chicago's the biggest Midwest city, obviously,
Yeah,
and like that is the when you put that there, like it's expensive.
but like I mean, Indianapolis is pretty cheap.
I go Indianapolis is a good one. I know to be more honest, I think Indianapolis is the more central to Chicago and Michigan people than
Yeah.
Columbus was. Um,
Well, and it's more central for a lot of people. Like somebody from Atlanta could justify going up to Indianapolis. Like they could justify Columbus, but Indianapolis just like as a city is more like there's more to do. Yeah. Like it's weird to call a college town kind of boring, especially considering the size of it, but Columbus was kind of boring. Yeah, it was over a million. I remember that. Because I remember you being surprised how big it was. Yeah. So it's big, but yeah. But it's also one of those like yeah. Well, but a lot of what I mean, half of Columbus's population is metro. Yeah. Which Indianapolis just feels like a bigger city. Nashville's too expensive. Hmm. Well, ever since the '60s, Detroit's population has been going down. Louisville's nice. Well, if we go to Indianapolis, we can bet on racing. Hmm? What do you mean? Yeah. Well, and Indiana has sports betting too, so. But, no, I genuinely think, like, obviously I doubt conventions are going to happen this year. I just hate to say it. I doubt 21 there's anything. There's no way PAX happens. Because, like, how do you, like, how does Boston justify allowing PAX but not allowing sports? Yeah. Yeah. Like, Seattle is not in any position to host anything at all. Well, I mean, in a normal year, it's not terrible. Yeah. Yeah, Texas and Florida are the two states that are letting things go. Yeah. And I don't see that happening because, like, the company my mom works for, they're based in Seattle. So all of their locations are under Seattle restrictions. And, like, Seattle keeps getting pushed back. Like, Seattle's not making progress. So, I don't see how does the city justify, you know, I don't know what PAX West does anymore, but like how do you justify having that many people in a relatively confined location when you're not allowing fans at sports games at, things like that because it's probably the same density, you know, like the density of uh I'm sure the convention center with 150,000 people in it is probably the same as a baseball arena with 40,000 in it. So, yeah, and I doubt Massachusetts is gonna want to do anything because I don't blame them. Yeah. Well, and the Northeast is just so damn busy that like they're gonna have to go at it as one. You know, but like if Boston opens up but New York is still clamped down, like that's just gonna cause a ton of issues. Boston and New York are gonna have to go at it like, okay, we're ready to move up a tier, even if Boston has been, or even if New York is ahead of schedule. Like, they're gonna have to wait because there's there's no great way to do that. Especially if you work in New York City but you live in Connecticut and the two states are under different restrictions, like you know oh, you leave from your house in Connecticut and you know you can travel on mass transit, and you get into the state of New York and it's limited mass transit or something like that. Like, you know, it's just gonna create so many headaches that I just don't know how you do it. Yeah, I didn't derail. 7 p.m. Eastern, roughly. Yep. 'Cause probably not. Yep. I'm not derailing anything. Yep. 2 miles. That's how we get to Paddington. Oh, whoops. I was not paying attention to the speeds or the distances. And basically put the skidders on there. Jeez. Throw 87, throw 88, throw 89. Stick it at 1. Just hold at 40 because it's going to go down to 40. Construction going on. Half a mile till it goes down to 25. coast through this signal. And then apply the brakes just to 1. Get 30 action points for driving under the speed limit. Platform 4, platform 3. And it's the beautiful Paddington Station. Put them. Are they not open? They're open. Did I not unlock the other ones too? Well, I'm loading passengers. Let's see if I've got anything I need to repair here. I don't see anything. There we go. I'm level 7. I'm level 5 on the GWE. Level 5 with that train. Well, I think that's probably going to call it. So, yeah. See you guys Wednesday.